Samskara, subtitled A Rite for a Dead Man, is a 1966 novel by the Indian writer Ananthamurthy. Ananthamurthy was born in Southwestern India in 1932, and he writes in Kannada, one of India's many regional languages. He's widely considered within India to be one of its greatest modern writers. However, his books challenge notions of caste, and he opposed the ruling Hindu nationalist BJP. When he died in 2014 at the age of 82, some Hindus went so far as to celebrate. This review contains spoilers. Samskara is about a community of Brahmins, the highest of the four Hindu castes, in a village called Darvasapura in southwest India, and what happens when one of them, a confirmed apostate called Naranappa, dies suddenly. Naranappa renounced his caste status a long time ago. Since then, he's been mixing with Muslims, eating sacred fish, and denouncing his neighbour's hypocrisy. He threw out his orthodox Brahmin wife and set up house with an untouchable woman called Chandri. His death poses the problem: what should be done about his funeral rites? It would be conventional for a Brahmin to be cremated in the ritual way by other Brahmins. But just how Brahmin was Naranappa in the end? No one knows. Luckily or not, there's one Brahmin in Darvasapura who considerably outranks the others in both doctrinal knowledge and personal integrity. Pranashacharya is a young man, but utterly devoted to his religion. He married a severely disabled woman to cement his devotion, and he's regarded as something of a saint for miles around. Surely he'll know what to do about Naranappa's last rites. Unfortunately, despite his best efforts, he can't discover a solution. Instead, he finds himself undergoing an existential crisis in which he comes to question everything he's formerly taken for granted. A samskara is a rite of passage from one stage of life to another, but more generally, it signifies a transition from one mode of awareness to another. Pranashacharya reluctantly finds himself undergoing this latter form of transition. The situation's complicated by the fact that Naranappa's death isn't an isolated incident. It turns out that he died from the plague and he brought it back from a journey he recently made. Other Brahmins now become infected and die. Pranashacharya's own wife dies. The problem of what to do with Naranappa's corpse is finally solved by his former untouchable partner Chandri, who teams up with one of Naranappa's old Muslim friends and cremates the body without ceremony. But the village Brahmins, including Pranashacharya, remain ignorant of that fact. The author wants to make it clear that Pranashacharya's transformation takes place within Hinduism, not in any journeying away from it. There's always been a left-handed path in the religion, so Naranappa may not have been as heretical as he made out or as others took him to be. God is everything and in everything. To cut a long story short, Pranashacharya sleeps with Naranappa's untouchable partner, then begins to wander away from home in a kind of self-questioning daze. He eventually finds himself in company with a highly talkative young man called Putta from the Malaria caste, a caste of people born from the unions of Brahmins with lower caste partners. The novel ends with Pranashacharya deciding firmly to change his life. He'll stop being formally pious and become open to the universe in something like the way Naranappa was. In order to do that, he needs to announce his intentions to his fellow Brahmins in Darvasapura. Of course, we know what he doesn't. The other Brahmins may not have survived the plague. Assuming they have, things will be different anyway. But we don't even know, really, if he'll survive. My biggest criticism of this novel has to do with its women characters. They're either withered wives or voluptuous, seemingly always available untouchables. There's a scene in part 1 where a Brahmin young man has sex with a reluctant lower caste woman called Belly. Belly was all right for sleeping with, he muses afterwards, but she was no good for talk. The 21st century reader can't help wondering about the depth of exploitation there, although it's not, at least obviously, a concern the author shares. Despite its limitations, this is a profound novel. Although its broader themes are universal, its particulars are very Hindu-specific, and many Western readers may find that a challenge. On the other hand, Some challenges are worth meeting. Over to you.